In this production of Rent, Tim Driesen plays Mark, and I guess Mark is kind of the narrator for the show.
He is slightly. I mean, obviously, he's his storyline as he's making a documentary about their lives. That's kind of the backdrop of the story. So that's how we keep informed about characters that just appear for the first time. He explains a little bit about them. So yeah, I guess you could say he is the narrator. Which
means you must be on the ball and know absolutely everything about everyone, as well as your own lines.
I will do once we're a few more weeks past this one. But yeah.
So why put yourself through such a ridiculous schedule, very little rehearsal time for a full-blown production?
I think mainly because it's Rent, and Rent's one of those shows that everyone will always want to do. The first time I heard it, it was just mind-blowing. It was new, innovative, it was great. I think anyone in musical theatre, everyone knows Rent, everyone loves Rent, and it's just one of those shows that's universal as well, and it's such a great story, and because we're doing it for a good cause as well, it's combining two things, I guess. It's the love of a show and obviously wanting to make a lot of money for charity.
But it's not traditional music of musical theatre, is it?
Isn't it though? If you look at what's out there now.
Well, I guess I mean the style. It's a rock musical, isn't
so
it?
Well, yes,
70s,
okay. So
right,
I guess it's not a typical musical in the way that if you say musical, yeah, exactly. If you say musical to a lot of people, it would be your classics, your Phantoms, your Les Mis. But I think it was the first of its not the first of its kind, but it was like a reinvention of a genre. I think at a time where it was saturated with the big sing-song musicals, and to have something that was as original and as topical as it was back in the day.
So is Rent something Tim's always wanted to do?
Rent's like, I'm sure a lot of people will agree, it's like the holy grail of musical theatre. It's one of those shows that it's scary because people have such a preconception of how it should be done and how people should play it, which is always scary for an actor, because you always want to do the best job you possibly can, doing justice to the part and the production. So it is quite daunting and quite scary, and especially as we get such limited rehearsal time, and we're all doing it for free in our own time. We've all got different projects on the go at the same time, so it's not as if we can concentrate on it for 4 or 5 weeks prior to the performance and give the best show that... Obviously, we'll all give the best show that we can, but it is quite scary to have to do most of the work in your own spare free time. We're all professionals. We're all actors, singers, so it will be a very good production. But it is quite scary, the amount of work there is to do, because obviously with licensing means that we have to do the full production, and we can't just pick and choose the songs that we want to do. I mean, for people that have never seen Rent before, it'll be a first introduction to it, in a semi-staged concert production of the show. So it won't be the full thing. But the beauty about Rent is that the story's there in the songs, and you get all of that.
And I guess this will take it back to the original setting, unlike the Rent remix, which was the last time it was seen in the West End.
Of course, yeah. I mean, this is going to be quite true to the original story. Why fix something that ain't broke? I think it's just such a strong product. It's a rock musical at the end of the day. It needs the guitars, the drums, the piano, the bass, just a small setup of musicians, great vocals, great harmonies. They're quite intricate for rock stuff. A great ensemble, a great cast, in my opinion. And it's just, there's a lot of people on there that have obviously worked extensively within the business, that might not be well known, that haven't come from a TV show, but that who are really good at what they do. So it's a nice platform for people to perform.
Well, I must admit, just listening to the bit of rehearsal before we came out here to talk, it is amazing how many different people have input into one number, and it may only be 1 or 2 words, but of course it's absolutely integral to the whole piece.
Exactly, and it's the kind of story and the kind of score where it's half spoken, half sung, and everything's scored, everything's in the script, everything's on a beat. It's not as easy as people think it is. I mean, like, the more you listen to it and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it, but it is quite tricky to get some of that speaking into singing, and obviously to leave enough room for the next person to sing and speak. It's quite intricate.
And why Mum's the Word? Because it's not the first time you've done something for them.
I haven't. I mean, they support some great charities. The girls behind it, Amy and Laura, obviously the reason why they've gone into producing charity concerts is obviously quite tragic, and it kind of makes it personal to them. And I loved doing Never Never Land for them, and obviously the musical Scott Allen is great anyway, so it's nice to have that performed with Scott and people like Eden Espinosa coming over. I mean, how can you not want to do a concert like that? Then when they pitched the idea of Rent to me, I was like, well, I think it'll work if I can play Mark.
I see.
It was one of those. No, it wasn't really. I mean, it was. I've always wanted to play Mark, but it's proving quite a challenge. I have to say, it's quite hard. But hey, I like a challenge.
Hey, you will rise to the challenge, no doubt,
I'll
when
rise
you
to the
take to the stage of the Garrick Theatre, and if not, we'll all be knocking down the door to get to you at the end of it.
Yeah, I'll be making a quick exit.
So start the car. Tim Driesen, good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian.